Nick, thank you very much. Okay, so we are looking at these decision tables. We have looked at algorithm. We have also looked at flow charts. We are going to look at these decision tables. And of course, from there, we're also going to look at structured charts. So what are decision tables? Let's start by giving ourselves some introduction as to what decision tables is. Of course, this one, you'll also find it in a subtopic in a unit called System Analysis and Design. That is in Module 2, Diploma Module 2. So what is a decision table? We can say is a tabular representation of a program logic, tabular representation of a program logic, and displays all conditions affecting a particular situation. So it's a tabular representation of a program logic and displays all conditions affecting a particular situation and appropriate action taken by each let me repeat, situation and the appropriate action to be taken by each set of conditions. So that is the definition for a decision table. Do I have another definition? Of course, I have many notes on this one. We also is a diagrammatic. I can also give another definition for these decision tables. We can say that is a diagrammatic method. Is a diagrammatic of logic modeling, where the logic modeling, where the analysts use logic modeling technique that are graphical based. Rather than text-based. So that is what we call decision table, and rather than text-based, I think it's actually a table. We'll be designing a table. I'll be drawing for you the layout of a decision table. I think I can actually draw it as of now, so that we can then explain. Let's look at components of decision table. Decision table. So what are the components of decision table? We can start by having a layout of a decision table so that we can understand what a table looks like, what this table looks like, layout of decision table. So this layout it's like a table as a tabular representation of a program logic. That's what we've said there. So it's going to be a table and then we're going to divide it into four sections. So how am I going to do that? Let me see whether this is possible. Yeah, so this is my table here, and so format, shape field. This is a table. In this first box, you have the. Let me change my font field. So here you've got condition statement. That's where your condition statements go. Then, of course, the other one. After that, you have condition entries, or sometimes some condition statement. Then you have condition entries, or condition entries. And after that, you have another one here, which is the action statement. Action statement below. Action statements. Then after that, here you have another one, which is action entries. So that's how a decision table looks like. When you talk about the condition entries are also known as rules or condition rules. So this is how a table looks like, a decision table. Let's look at this. Let's explain each of these so that you understand what they are all about. What is condition? What is condition statement? What is action statement? What are condition entries or rules? What are action entries? These statements, when the condition statement, once you advance, you'll find that they also called as they also called condition stubs, STUBS. But for now, let's just work with them as condition statements. And then condition entries. They're also called as condition rules. You can actually add here condition rules. That when I talk about condition rules, you don't get confused. And then we also have action statement, what will be happening, and the action entries. So let's describe each of these. I hope you are done designing this table, or you're done. So let's look at this, the first one, condition statements. So for the condition statement, this one we can say that which introduces one or more conditions. Which introduces one or more condition. That is the very first one, the condition statement. Then number two, we also have another one which is called the condition entries. This one, condition entries. So for the condition entries, we can say that the entries that complete the condition statement. Entries that completes the condition statement. Yeah. So after that, you also have action entries. Action entries. And when you see these action entries, entries that completes the action statement. So that is action entries. Then also we have another one which is the action. What is an action statement? Actually, the action statement was supposed to come before the action entries, but we can just have a action statement. Action statement. What is an action statement? This one we can say a statement that shows one or more actions. Statement that shows one or more action. Okay, then after that, do you have anything else? These ones, the condition rules and condition entries are all the same. Yeah, so whenever you talk about the condition entries complete the condition. They are also called a unique combination of conditions and actions taken under this condition. Anyway, that is okay. Then also there's something else that I have not indicated. We can also talk about header. Header, of course, header, these are just titles. So we can say that header, these are title. These are title identifying the table or identifying the table. Yeah. Yeah, this is a title identifying. Yeah, that's good. Right, so condition identifier, do we have it here? Okay, so this is good. Yeah, so we can look at advantages before we draw. Advantages of using decision tables. So when you hear of these decision tables, it simply means these are tables that will help us make decisions. Depending on a certain decision or a certain condition, what will happen? It is depending on the number of conditions. Anyway, I will explain using a diagram. But let's first of all look at the advantages so that we see what you're talking about here. Do you have anything? Let me see. The advantages, they are there. Yeah. Yeah, so advantages. I've just seen some other notes that I have here that have got steps for developing decision table, which are good notes also. Instead of just going directly to drawing, I think we'll also have to look at the steps so that at least you can have the theoretical background as to how you approach decision tables, because they are not easy. They are not as easy, and at times you may find a very complex question. So once we are done with the advantages and disadvantages, I'll just give you the notes for steps for developing the decision tables, and then we see what to do. I hope these notes are clear, because I'm using several books to do this. So number one of the advantages of decision tables is that summarizes all outcomes of a situation and suggests a suitable action. So summarizes all the outcomes of a situation You can carry an umbrella. If it does not rain, what else can you do? You carry, if it rains, you carry an umbrella. If it does not rain, you will not carry an umbrella. And then, of course, explaining theoretically, you may not understand, but it is just, you can have two conditions. Like there we have, if it rains. So how many conditions are there? If it rains, there are two conditions. There is one which, if it rains and if it does not rain. Then what is the action? The number one action is carry an umbrella. The next action is don't carry an umbrella. Anyway, so I will still explain further. So summarizes all the outcomes of a situation and suggests a suitable action. And then after that, number two, we have complex tables can easily be split. Complex tables can easily be split into simpler tables. Complex tables can easily be split into simpler tables. Then number three, table users are not required to possess. Table users are not required to possess any computer knowledge. So you don't need to be to have any table knowledge and any computer knowledge to use those tables. Also, another advantage is better documentation. Provided. Better documentation is provided. This one you can say a comma. You say tabular representation may be more workable than the flowcharts. So it's much easier for you to understand this than the flowcharts. Another one is the alternatives are shown. Alternatives are shown side by side to facilitate analysis of combination. To facilitate analysis of combination. Analysis of combination. So those are the advantages. Let's look at the disadvantages of the decision tables. I have few disadvantages. One of the disadvantages for this one is that if there is a large number of alternatives, it may be impractical to list them all. It may be impractical to list them all. In one decision table. So this one, as you'll be able to see that as we continue. Then number 2, they do not show the flow of logic. They do not show the flow of logic. Of a solution to a given problem. That's a disadvantage. Another disadvantage, the last one, is the use of both flowcharts and decision. The use of both flowcharts and decision table technique may impose an additional burden. That is very true. Of course, now, if you are trying to draw these two, you are told to draw maybe a decision table and a flowchart, and it can really be tiresome, and it can be such a burden. Okay. So let's look at steps for developing decision table. What are the approaches that we have before you start drawing? Because I'm very sure most of you are waiting to draw this decision table. Developing decision table. Steps for developing a decision table. Yeah, so there it is. So what are the first thing that you do? You first identify, determine. Number one is determine the number. Determine number of conditions. Determine number of conditions that may affect a decision. Okay. Then once you determine the number of conditions that may affect a decision, like I have said, we have, if it rains, carry umbrella. How many conditions are there? We have how many conditions? We have 2 conditions. If it rains, so it also means that it cannot. There is a possibility that it's also not going to rain. So in that, we have 2 conditions, and of course, those 2 conditions will also determine the number of what? the number of action statements that we're going to have. Yeah, so then the next one, combined row, just a minute before you write. Then the next one, number 2, determine number of possible actions. So actions inaenda wapi? Action statements ni hizi ziko chini, so hapo utasema conditions, raining, not going to rain. Then action statement, carry umbrella, not carry umbrella. So those are that you're going to determine the number of actions that can be taken. This becomes the number. This becomes the number of rows in the lower half of the table, in the lower half of the decision table. So that is this determine the number of possible actions that can be taken. This becomes the number of rows in the lower half of the decision table. This section here, up, chini. Then after you've done that, you're going to go to number 3, the step number 3, determine number of condition alternatives for each. Determine number of condition number of condition alternatives for each condition alternatives for each condition. In the simplest form of decision table. In the this is condition, you can put a comma in the simplest form of decision table. There can be two alternatives. There can be two alternatives. There are only two alternatives. Y or N. This simply means yes or no. So those are the number of condition entries. There is only yes or no for each condition. For each condition. Yeah, so that is something that you need to know, that we use the condition alternatives on this side, this side here, the condition where the yes and no zinakujanga hapa kwa condition entries. That's why you put your yes and no's, depending on the number of condition statements. But I will explain how you create that one. Then the next one, number 4, calculate the number of columns. This is very key. Calculate the number of columns, or calculate the maximum number, whichever the maximum number of columns in the decision table. in the decision table by multiplying number of alternatives for each condition. Number of condition. So there it is. Then we still have to continue. There is something, there are some monos. If there were 4 conditions, if there were four conditions, if there are 4 conditions and 2 alternatives, that is 2 alternatives, yes and no. Yes and no in brackets. 2 alternatives, yes and no for each of the condition. There will be there would be 4 raised to 2, 4 raised to 2, raised to 2 power 4 to power 2. Just do that. 4 to power 2. There will be 4 to power 2. What? 4 to power 2 possibilities. That is quite a huge table, a big table. That is, you can also see that IE 16 possibilities. Itakuwa a very big table. A table with 16 possibilities, quite big table, and I will explain that one as we continue. Yeah, so every time to determine the number of condition entries that will be here, you first of all consider the number of condition statements. How many condition statements do you have? If you have 4, like you have, or you have 2, if it's going to rain or not going to rain, those are the 2 condition statements. Then you raise them by 2. That is, so in this side you're going to have how many columns? 2 raised to 2, 4. So you're going to divide this section into 4 columns. Okay, if for example you have 4 conditions here, 4 conditions, what will happen? You're going to say 4 raised to 2. So there will be 16 rows, 16 columns in this section here. So let's continue. So simple possibilities. Then the next one, number 5, fill in the conditional. So of course, this one, before we continue with the, don't forget the tables. If you want to understand these decision tables, they follow a rule. There's a rule called the 2n rules. Is it 2n rules? No, not 2n rules, but x to power n rule. X to power n rule. If we can see that. So x to power 4, x to power 4. So x being the number of conditions. So I'm just trying to explain this x, the number of conditions. And n being is condition, and n being the number of what? Of alternatives, condition alternatives. the number of condition, or the number of condition alternatives. So here, determine how many columns we are going to have here in this section. So that is what he's saying. This XN rule, I can call it a rule. That's what I was told my lecturer here many years ago. It's called the XN rule. There are some who call it the 2N rule, but at times you may not say 2N rule because not all questions have got two conditions. So X is better. When you say X, you're simply saying you can have any number of conditions, including 4 conditions. So if you have 4 conditions and N is yes and no, so two alternatives. So 4 is to 2 is 16. So you're going to have 16 columns in that section, and that's quite a big one. You can even have, I've never seen 8. I've never seen 8 conditions, or even 5 conditions. The maximum is 4 conditions, the one that I've seen. So the next one, number 5, another step that you follow when you're designing this, fill in the condition alternatives. Fill in the conditional and the condition alternatives. We have few guys here. It's 9 guys. When you're MMC class, I don't know what they are going to do. I hope they are not going to disturb me with questions later on. They don't understand anything. So fill in the condition alternatives, starting with the first condition. And divide number of columns by the number of alternatives. The number of alternatives. Number of alternatives. For that number of alternatives, for that condition, e.g., an example, e.g., if there are 16 possibilities, each with 2 alternatives, for just a minute. If there are 16 possibilities each with two alternatives, that is correct. It will be 16 divided by 2 to get 8. Then choose one of the alternatives For example, y, and write it in the first 8 columns. This is very clear now. Then after that, finish by writing n, finish by writing n, capital N, that is no in the remaining 8 columns. 8 columns as follows. So we are going to have an example of how we do that. So we have how many conditions? We have 4 conditions, Indio. 4 conditions. So these conditions, how many? If you raise 4 by 2, there will be how many possibilities? How many alternatives? 16, or 16 possibilities. So let's try and work this one out. How you can design such a table with the 16 possibilities. So you have condition 1. This is just an example of how you can design such a table. Condition 1. Then this one, for this condition 1, you're going to say why. See there are 16. You're going to, the first nini here, the first column hapa itakuwa y for 8 times. So you're going to type, or you're going to write y. Let me just put it in capital. How many y's? 1, 2, just capital y. So let me count them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the rest will be no's. No for 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have the first column will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the first row. It has 16 columns. The first 8 columns is yes. The second 8 columns will be no 8 times. Then once you are done with that, just write that one down. Repeat for each condition. Another point. Repeat for each condition using a subset of the table. Using the subset of a table, that is, or i.e. So another example of how you continue with that. Now this is the first condition. Tumeandika the first one, condition 1 iko here y 8 times and no 8 times. Now let's look at how it's the next condition should be. The next condition 2, if we have condition 2, you're going to say yes. How many times? So you're going to divide this one, the number of possibilities, by 2 again. So they are going to minimize. So yes will be how many? These were 8. Now they are going to be 4. You're going to divide them by 2 again. So you're going to have 4 yeses and 4 no's. And then you're also going to have 4 yeses and 4 no's. And then we go to condition 3. How the condition 3 will be. And this one will be, you divide again the number of possibilities by 2. So you're going to be having 2 yeses and 2 nos. Is it? 2 yeses and 2 nos. 2 yeses, 2 nos. 2 yeses, 2 nos. I hope I have not superseded the number of columns. I hope I have. So how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we are going to go up to that point if I'm not wrong. So yes, yes, no, no. That is 4. Yes, yes, no, no. That is 8. Yes, yes, no, no. That is 12. Yes, yes, no, no. That is 16. So this one is yes, 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 yes. That is 4. No, 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 no. That is 4. That is it. Or yes, 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 yes. That is 4. No, 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 no. That is, yeah, I think that is correct. So the fourth condition will be yes, no, yes, no. Condition 4. And that's when we stop now. You can't go beyond that. Therefore, the last condition should always have a yes, no. When you get to this one, yes, no. So those are 4. Yes, no, yes, no. So how many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I assume in another 8, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So I hope these are 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's how you have. If you have 4 conditions, we said, if you have 4 conditions, you're going to raise it by what? 2. And then, so you're going to have 16 possibilities. So then those 16 possibilities, divide them by the number of alternatives. The number of the alternatives are 2. So in the first condition, 16 divided by 2. So you're going to have the first column will be, or the first row will be yes 8 times and no 8 times. Then the second condition, you divide it again by 2. You are going to divide this also by 2, or yeah, instead of having now the yes 8 times, you're going to have yes 4 times, and yeah, and no 4 times again, like that, until you get yes, no, and yes, no. That's when you stop. So even if you had 8 conditions here, utaenda ukizibreak 8 conditions itakuwa na ngapi, na how many outcomes? 8 raised to 2, there will be 32, of which I don't think, I've never seen such. So uta have how many? The first row will be how many yeses if it's 32? Those 16. So you're going to have yes, 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 yes in the first row, yes, yes, yes 16 times, and then no 16 times. Then the next row will be yes 8 times, no 8 times, yes 8 times, no 8 times, like that, until you come to a place where you have yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay. So I hope you are done with this. Complete the table. The next point here. Complete the table by inserting an X. An X. Just a minute. Okay, so complete the table by inserting an X where the rule suggests where the rules suggest certain where the rules suggest certain suggestions. Certain suggestions. Then another one is another point. We can say combined rules. Combined rules where combined rules where it's apparent combined rules where it is apparent and alternatives does not have a difference does not have a difference in the outcome. E.g., of course, an example of this, if condition 1, that is condition 1 has how many alternatives? Has a yes, and then condition 2 has a colon no. Then action. How do you write your action? This is how you write your action. I think this should be number 6. This point should be number 6. Complete the table. Then action should be, let me just draw a line. So this is how you write your actions. You're going to have you're going to put an XX. Okay. This is action 1. You can put this one as an action 1. So this is just an example. If you have an action here, action statement, utakuwa unakuja hapa action entries, utakuwa unakuja una tick yes, utakuwa unaweka ka X ama ka dash. Okay, so we'll be showing you that one as we continue. It's just an illustration of how you enter your actions here. Action statement, and then you'll hapa kwa action entries, you'll be putting either an X or a dash, depending on what is on the condition rules. Hi. The next one, number 7, another thing that you check the table. Check the table for any impossible situations. Contradiction, for any impossible situation, impossible situation or situation. Yeah, situation, comma, contradiction, and redundancy. Then after that, still on the same point, you can say rearrange the conditions and entries or even rules. If this makes the decision table, if this makes the decision table more understandable. Decision. So that's all. Those are the steps that you follow when you are designing a decision table. So now I think we can go to examples. We can look at several examples before we call it a class of how you can draw a decision table. So now these are some of the things that most people don't like. Yeah, these decision tables I have seen in most of the situations. They are not the best questions that you can encounter, even in an exam. I will not lie to you. They are not the best, but anyhow, we have to learn them. And no matter how hard they are, we're still going to try and figure out something. Now we can have an example one of how you design a decision table. Of course, now if I had a whiteboard, it would have been easier for me. But now we don't have an option. I'm just going to use the manual. I'm going to use a table. I'm going to use a table. There's an option for inserting a table, which is good. So consider, this is an example. Consider the following example. Which illustrates, I think this would, okay. Consider the following example which illustrates the basic concept. The basic concepts of a decision table. So this is, we're going to use the example that I give you. If it rains, or rains, rains are expected. What will happen? Comma, carry an umbrella. Carry an umbrella. So this is a good question for people who are starting, because questions, they are usually difficult questions, like the one I have here. But for us, let's start with this, the most basic one. They like, I have another one here which is very complex. A clerk is assessing the amount of discount allowed in a customer and is required to comply with the following policy. That is a complex one. But let's start with this one. If it rains or rain are expected, carry an umbrella. So how many conditions do we have in this? You have how many conditions? we have two conditions, which is raining and rain expected, or yeah, rain is expected. So we are how many condition entries are we going to have in this one? If we have two conditions, how many condition entries are we going to have? So it says 2 raised to what? To 2. So you're going to have 4. This one is simpler. You're going to have four alternatives, a total of 4 alternatives. So let's draw this one and see how it looks like. So let me count the number of columns and the number of rows that I need. Mm -hmm. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 columns. 5. So insert table. Insert table. So how many rows do I need? How many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to have 6. I can actually put 7 for now. And then let me first draw, then you draw it later. Then how many rows are we going to have? We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows. So there it is. We can first of all, so we have a condition, and then we have, so here we have condition. So how many conditions do we have? This one we can put it in a capital, or can bold it and then we make it capital. We have two conditions. One is raining. And then one is the other condition is rain is expected. Or for you to understand this table well, let me draw it using another method. You can have the first rows here, we can merge them, and then we say these are condition, and then these other ones, we can have them as acts. We can merge them and say acts or actions, whichever you prefer. They were actions, Action, yeah, they are actions. This is just for you to understand what are the actions. It will be. So for the conditions, we have two conditions, which is raining the condition 1, and the other one is rains expected, or rain expected. You can have rain expected or rain predicted. Those are the two conditions that we have. Do we need a title? Do we need a header for this? Yeah, we can also have a header. We say condition. These are conditions. Or of course you can have them here, or the condition you can put them here, or you can also which one is which? Which one is the best? Kuweka hapa ama kuweka hapa chini? Tuziweke hapa juu. Conditions. Conditions. I wish I had that. So now using computer at times. Yeah, wacha tuziweke hapo juu. The title for this, for the two conditions. Then after the conditions, you have the entries. So these ones here, we can merge them and call them entries. Entries, the entries. How many entries do we need? how many entries? We said we have 4. So then those 4 you divide them by. So the first one you're going to have yes, 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 and then the next one is no, no, no. That is the first one, the first row. So we had a total of 4 possibilities. So those possibilities you're supposed to divide them by 2. So that the first row will be yes, yes, no, no. So here tuhitaji, don't need this one. I don't know how we're going to get rid of it. Go to delete column. Yeah, so hii pia imepotea. No. How do I insert another row hapa juu? Kuniekea. We need this. Need to delete this particular row here, this column. But let's just leave it for now. You can actually, how do I get rid of it? I can get rid of it. Delete rows. Delete columns. Hey, that one is not working. Split. Where is the split cells? Split. How many columns? I think it's okay now. So for the next one, for the next entry, the next entry will be yes, yes, no, and the other one is yes, no. So we are done with the condition and the entries. So the next one is the actions. Of course, you are supposed to put the actions here. What are the actions? If it's raining, what is expected if you rain? If it rains, the first action will be carry an umbrella. That was the first action that, according to the question, you're supposed, if it is raining, you carry umbrella. Of course, I don't know why I went here. We are supposed to first of all enter these ones. So you can cut it, take the opportunity, then I put a title there, I say actions, so that at least you can be able to see what we are doing. These are actions. So this is carry umbrella, the first action. Then the next action is don't carry umbrella. There are 2 actions. Carry umbrella. If it's not raining, don't carry umbrella. Don't carry. Actually, you can say don't carry. So after the actions, what else do you have? You're not going to determine the what? The alternatives. Or you're going to choose which day are you going to carry an umbrella, and which day, depending on the entries, these entries or the possibilities we have here. Which day are you going to, depending on the possibilities, which day are you going to carry an umbrella? Like for example, let me see. So no, undo. So this one for the actions, are you going to carry an umbrella on this day? Because in this day, it's going to rain, and also in this day, the rain are expected. Are you going to carry an umbrella on this day? So yes, you will carry an umbrella. So you're going to put an X. Yeah, it's there is no confusion. There is no contradiction. So this day you can carry an umbrella. Whereas this one don't carry an umbrella, you're not going to put in. You can actually put a dash there. So on this day you can carry an umbrella. What about this one? It's raining, but so it's raining, but rains are not. So it's already raining. So are you going to carry an umbrella on this day? Yes. So you put an X there, and then you put a dash here. So that one simply means that this day you're going to carry an umbrella. So what about this? But still, rains are expected. So when you look at the clouds, rains are expected. Kuna mawingu mawingu. Are you going to carry an umbrella that day in real life? Yes, sometimes people do that, especially ladies. So you can say on this day you carry an umbrella. You put an X there or a star, and then you also so this day you're also going to carry an umbrella. What about this day? On this day you look, it's not raining. Yes, you woken up in the morning, it's not raining, and also the rains are not expected. When you look at the clouds, it's clear. There are no signs. It's January. So are you going to carry an umbrella on this day? Most people, of course, this day you're not going to carry an umbrella, so your X will come to this. So you're not going to carry an umbrella on this particular day. So this one is that's how your decision table is supposed to be. It's helping us to determine the days that you're going to carry an umbrella and the days that will not, and the days when you're not going to carry an umbrella. So that's how it works. I hope we are still together. So I think you can draw this one. You just draw this one. The actions are here. So the question is here and the solution is there. So I hope you can see it clearly. So condition is raining, raining is expected. So how many conditions? 2 raised to the number of, we only have 2 possibilities. So two conditions raised by alternatives. We have 2 alternatives and 2 conditions. So how many yeses are you going to have? How many columns are you going to have in the entries? So 2 raised to 2 is you're going to have how many columns? A total of 4. And then the first row you have to divide it by 2. So the first row you're going to have yes, yes, no, no. And the second one is yes, no, yes, no. So you can, the entries will be yes, no, yes, no. Then from there now you go continue with the actions. Actions we have carry umbrella, don't carry umbrella. So so I think with that we've come to the end. Let me just share that window so that you see. Is there any question concerning concerning that decision table? Just a minute. Is there a question? Is there a question regarding that decision table? So in the next lesson, we'll be looking at more examples. I'll give you one example. I have one example here. Do you have another one? There's another one which is very complex. Let me see whether it's going to be workable. This one has how many? It has two conditions. Yeah, so I'll try and see whether we can do some other one example in the next lesson, and then from there we're going to look at the what we call the structured charts, and then we finish this topic here. So have a happy Labor Day. I think it's coming on Saturday, not wrong, on Saturday. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy. Have a nice day. We'll meet again in the next lesson for more decision tables as we clarify this